Hello and welcome back to the History Channel. My name is Idan and I'll be your digital history teacher. I will teach you about international history from the late 1800s to the mid 1900s in a 16-part series. This is part 14. This video will be about 4.2, how effectively Chiang Kai-shek dealt with the communists. Starting with section 8, the Shanghai Massacre and the extermination campaigns. Northern expedition succeeded due to high support of KMT by peasants, meaning farmers of China, but some people thought of Chiang as a military dictator. In 1927, CCP organized insurrections by workers in Shanghai and local warlords were defeated, and Chiang began the purification movement to get rid of communism in the KMT. In 1927, Chiang ordered a purge of communists using something called the Green Gang, and at least 100 deaths occurred. The purge spread beyond Shanghai, and over 50,000 died. Later, communist soldiers tried to take over Nanjing, but were defeated, and Chiang became the full political and military leader of China. The KMT ended up losing support of Russia, and the movement didn't end full communist influence. Moving on to section B, the Long March. Mao Zedong held senior posts within the KMT, within the CCP, and became a reputable organizer. He joined his Red Army of China and was elected chairman of the Soviet Republic of China. Chiang created 5 campaigns against the CCP in 7 years and was forced to fight a war. Mao tried to keep control and arrested 4,000 Red Army members, thinking they were KMT sympathizers. In 1934, Chiang killed 60,000 members of the CCP in 1 year. Mao was removed from the CCP, and they tried attacking the KMT, but failed, and ended up retreating for over a year, and were later attacked, and around 10,000 survived. Next, we have section C, the Xinan incident. Japanese soldiers decided to take over China without the government's consent and stage an explosion, and blamed it on anti-Japanese Chinese citizens, giving an excuse to launch a full-scale invasion of Manchuria. In 6 months, they took full control, establishing it as Manchukuo, making former Emperor Puyu as the new Emperor of Manchukuo. China appealed for assistance from the League of Nations, but they took no action. After Japan refused to withdraw, this was a clear indication of Japan expanding more into China. Chiang adopted a policy of non-resistance because KMT's control was far from complete, and they were weak and lacked a navy. His policy was to use resources on the internal construction of China and to defeat the CCP. Chiang ordered Zhang and Yang to attack the CCP, but they thought it was wrong and that they should form an alliance with the CCP. Chiang didn't listen to them, so Zhang and 150 soldiers ended up raiding Chiang's home, and he and his supporters were arrested. The KMT were divided and didn't know whether to help Chiang escape or form an alliance with the CCP. The USSR needed to keep Chiang in power, but changed his policies because he introduced an international community by being the only realistic leader of China. So the USSR instructed a member of the CCP to negotiate. Chiang peacefully agreed and formed a truce with the CCP. Now we'll move on to section D, attempts at modernization and reform. Sun Yat-sen had 3 stages of revolution, being unification through military action, a period in which the government would educate China in preparation for democracy, and the establishment of a constitutional democracy. In between the ending of the Northern Expedition and the outbreak of war between China and Japan was the Nanking Decade, also the golden age of China's modernization through reforms in education, health, economy, and more. Firstly, currency was created to gain access to foreign loans, transportation, and communications began improving with telegraph systems and highways. Next, China improved public health with more efficient methods of water storage. They also adopted Western-style legal systems with a Supreme Court and fair rents in agriculture. They enhanced their education as well as social reforms to protect factory workers and improve working conditions. Chiang thought of the northern expedition as a success, but really they achieved limited control in the north. In 1930, the KMT sent 600,000 army members against the warlords who were defeated, but this was very expensive for them at the time. Their government also lacked political authority to enforce most of the reforms, especially in the remote areas. Moreover, many KMT members were far from united in how the country should be governed, making most of their reforms hard to maintain. And that's the end of 4.2. Tune into the next video for the next part, which goes into 4.3.